Hi, this is Wes Fryer, and I'd like to share with you 10 reasons why InfoPics are fantastic media projects for learners of almost any age to create and share. First of all, InfoPics can be fun to make. Bringing together images and text that effectively communicate an idea concisely can be hard fun, and that means it can be challenging in a very engaging way. Second of all, creating InfoPics can increase time on task and engagement. And there's a basic finding from educational research which says that the more time students spend working with specific content, the more they learn, the more they retain. And so there are many decisions to be made as you're creating an InfoPic, and there are lots of different choices to make. And as you can see, you don't even need to have images, you can just use text. But as you decide how to represent these ideas concisely and effectively, it takes some time, but that can actually be very good for learning. Thirdly, InfoPics intentionally connect words to images. If you speak a foreign language, you know this, that translation can often be challenging. And in this case, we're asking others to translate from a linguistic textual format in many cases to a visual image-based format. And that really is a translation in your brain. But that process of intentionally connecting words to images is really important, and it's one of the ways that we are communicated with every single day, whether we're in the checkout line at the grocery store or looking at a website or almost anywhere else in our society. Fourth, when you create InfoPics, you have to synthesize and chunk information. And this first version of this InfoPic actually isn't chunked very well. It's kind of a long quotation. You know, synthesis is a critical skill in Bloom's taxonomy. And when we create InfoPics, we offer the opportunity for students to deepen their learning through the creation of that related media. Here's the second version of that same InfoPic, and you can see that we've cut down the text that is in it, and therefore, hopefully, we've increased the likelihood you're going to be reading it and it's going to be effective in communicating that idea. And so this is an example of the process through which we can decide how do we synthesize this information into its key elements, how do we chunk it so that we can effectively communicate it to an audience. Fifth, creating InfoPics can effectively amplify ideas in our attention economy. I love Michael Goldhaber's article about the attention economy. I think it's from back in 1997, and he says that economies are defined by what's scarce, not what's plentiful. So it's not very helpful to call our economy an information economy. It's better to call it an attention economy. And I contend that gaining appropriate attention today in our information landscape is a basic literacy skill. And it's one that will serve students well no matter what kind of job or career they go on to after their formal education years. Number 6, creating and sharing InfoPics can help anyone develop iterative online search skills. And by iterative skills, I mean the skills that require you to try and then try again, altering and changing slightly your strategy so that you alter your results. Because the first page of search results that you get in any search engine are often not the best. In fact, different search engines and websites can be better suited to a particular task. And so learning this process of iteratively searching and using an appropriate platform for a search can be critical and extremely valuable. 7. Creating InfoPics can give opportunities to practice intellectual property respect and attribution. It is vital that everyone in our society today understand the importance not only of attribution, which is something we do academically because it's the right thing to do, but also fair use under the laws of our country. Creative Commons licensing, the upfront sharing of permission to reuse media like this image, and you can see the attribution listed right there below the photograph, because that's what the Photos for Class website does, is it lists that attribution under Creative Commons right at the bottom, and just respect for intellectual property. These are things that we can't just tell students about, they need to actually practice them and do them. And so in creating and sharing InfoPics, they have that opportunity, and we do as well as teachers. Eighth, creating InfoPics allows us to practice design principles. You know, there are a large number of things, from using contrasting colors to selecting appropriate and readable fonts to properly using white space and and many other kinds of things like that are design principles. And so when you're creating InfoPics and you're merging text with images, you have an opportunity to make lots of decisions and practice those kinds of good design principles. Number 9, creating and sharing InfoPics can help us manage and create a positive digital footprint. You know, how can we shape what people find when they put our name into a search engine and look for information about us online? When we choose to share ideas and links with InfoPics, we can more powerfully manage that digital footprint, what people are going to see, what they're going to connect with, what they're going to readily identify as key ideas or topics or subjects that we are very passionate about, interested in, and that form part of our online identity. Number 10, we can experience deeper serendipitous social learning when we are creating and sharing InfoPics, and building a professional learning community, or a PLN, with social media platforms can really support this. It can provide opportunities for rich, interactive, as well as serendipitous learning. And by that I mean we can end up finding article links, individuals, books, resources that relate to topics and subjects we're very interested in, but we wouldn't have found otherwise. And this process can be facilitated through the creation of InfoPics, which can really leverage those social media connections. When we link to other people's work, when we give them attribution, we increase the chance that they're going to see that work and possibly recommend it, but that others will as well. And it can just lead to this virtuous circle of sharing and interaction around common ideas and themes, which can be very powerful for learning. So if you'd like more information and resources related to InfoPics, I would encourage you to visit the website showwithmedia.com, and you can click the link for InfoPic. And you can also visit a project I've been working on for a number of years, which is the Digital Witness for Jesus Christ project. And you can find that on dw4jc.com/InfoPics. And that is specific to creating InfoPics about Bible verses. Thanks so much for your attention, and good luck creating and sharing InfoPics.